I've always liked the quiet of the early morning, especially in a place like this. A small, family owned hardware store on the edge of town, where the world seems to hold its breath before the day begins. I'm just a part time clerk here, working weekends to save up for college, and at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, the store is mine alone for the first hour. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a sterile glow over rows of tools, paint cans, and dusty shelves. The air smells of metal and old wood, a familiar scent that's grounded me since I started working here a few months ago. Outside, the parking lot is empty, the gray dawn barely creeping over the horizon beyond the strip of pine trees that separates us from the highway. It's mundane, predictable, and safe, or at least it always has been. I'm behind the counter, sipping lukewarm coffee from a chipped mug, flipping through the inventory list for the day. The silence is broken only by the faint hum of the ancient heater kicking on and the occasional creak of the building settling. My routine is simple. Check the stock, sweep the aisles, and unlock the front door at 7 a.m. for the early birds, usually contractors or retirees with weekend projects. I've done this dozens of times, and there's a comfort in the repetition. But this morning, as I glanced toward the back of the store, I noticed something odd. The door to the storage room, which I always keep locked overnight, is slightly ajar. Just a crack, but enough to make me pause. I'm sure I secured it last night before leaving. I always double check. I set down my coffee, a faint unease prickling at the back of my neck, but I brush it off. Probably just forgot in my rush to get home. I grab the keys from the counter and head toward the back, my sneakers scuffing against the worn linoleum. The store feels larger in the quiet, the aisles stretching into shadows where the lights don't quite reach. As I approach the storage room, I notice the air feels heavier, like the stillness before a storm. There's a faint smell too, something musty, like damp earth, which doesn't make sense in a place full of metal and plastic. I shake my head, telling myself, it's just the old building, maybe a leak somewhere. Rational thoughts, practical thoughts. I push the door open wider, and the hinges groan, a low, drawn-out sound that seems to linger in the air. The storage room is dark, the single bulb overhead burned out since last week. I fumble for my phone, turning on the flashlight. Shelves of surplus stock loom in the beam, boxes of nails, rolls of duct tape, cans of solvent. Nothing looks out of place, but that smell is stronger here, almost cloying, like soil after rain, mixed with something sour I can't place. My stomach twists, and I tell myself it's just the confined space, the lack of ventilation. I step inside to check the back wall for any signs of water damage, and that's when I hear it, a faint, rhythmic tapping, like fingers drumming on wood, coming from somewhere deeper in the room. I freeze, my breath catching. The sound stops as abruptly as it started, leaving only the hum of the heater from the main store. My rational mind kicks in. It's an old building, pipes settle, wood expands. But my instincts are screaming at me to turn around, to lock this door and pretend I never noticed it was open. I sweep the flashlight around one more time, the beam trembling slightly in my hand. Nothing, just shadows and stillness. I back out, pulling the door shut with more force than necessary, the lock clicking into place with a satisfying snap. My heart's beating faster than it should, and I laugh under my breath, feeling foolish. I'm spooking myself over nothing. Back at the counter, I try to focus on the inventory list, but my eyes keep drifting to the hallway leading to the storage room. The store feels different now, like the air's grown thicker, pressing against my skin. I take a sip of coffee, but it tastes bitter, almost metallic, though I'm sure it's just my nerves. Then I hear it again, the tapping, louder this time, more deliberate, coming through the wall behind the counter. It's not rhythmic anymore, it's erratic, like something testing, searching. I stand, my chair scraping against the floor, and stare at the wall. There's nothing there but faded paint and a corkboard with employee schedules. My mind races for an explanation, mice maybe? But the sound isn't skittering or small. It's heavy, purposeful. I force myself to walk the aisles, pretending to check stock, but really, I'm listening. The tapping follows me, faint but persistent, moving from the wall to the ceiling, as if whatever's making it is crawling through the building's bones. My palms are sweaty, and I wipe them on my jeans, telling myself I'm being ridiculous. I've been alone in this store 100 times. It's just my imagination running wild after a long week. But when I pass the aisle with the old brass fixtures, antique locks, and hinges we've had forever, I notice something glinting on the floor. A small tarnished key, one I don't recognize, lying in the middle of the aisle. It wasn't there yesterday, I'm sure of it. I bend down to pick it up, the metal cold and oddly heavy in my hand. There's a faint engraving on it, a swirling pattern that looks almost like a rune, though I can't make it out clearly. I don't know why, but holding it makes my skin crawl, like I've touched something I shouldn't have. I slip the key into my pocket, intending to ask my boss about it later. And that's when the tapping stops. The silence is sudden, suffocating. And for a moment, I think it's over. But then I feel it, a sensation like being watched, a prickling at the base of my skull. I turn, half expecting to see someone standing at the end of the aisle, but there's nothing. Just empty shelves and dim light. My breath comes shallow, and I mutter to myself to calm down, to stop acting like a kid scared of the dark. I head back to the counter, but the feeling doesn't leave me. It grows, a weight pressing down, like the air itself is staring. Over the next half hour, things get worse. The fluorescent lights begin to flicker, not all at once, but one by one, starting at the back of the store and moving toward the front. The hum of the heater turns into a low, guttural drone, almost like a voice trying to form words. That smell of damp earth is everywhere now, seeping into my clothes, my skin. I check my phone, 6:45 a.m. Only 15 minutes until I can unlock the door and let the world back in. But the thought of staying here another minute makes my chest tight. I consider calling my boss, but what would I say? That I'm scared of noises and shadows? I'd sound insane. I decide to check the storage room one more time to prove to myself there's nothing there. With the key still in my pocket, I unlock the door again, the click echoing in the quiet. The smell hits me like a wall, so strong I gag, and the darkness inside seems deeper, like it's swallowing the light from my phone. I step in, my sneakers scuffing against the concrete, and sweep the beam around. That's when I see it. On the far wall, where there was nothing before, there's a faint outline, like a door that's been painted over. The paint is peeling at the edges, revealing rough wood beneath, and in the center, there's a keyhole. My stomach drops. I don't want to, but I pull the tarnished key from my pocket, and it fits the shape of the hole perfectly, like it was made for it. I should walk away. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to leave, to lock this room and never come back. But my hand moves on its own, trembling as I slide the key into the lock. The click is deafening, and the door creaks inward, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. A void so absolute it feels alive, pulsing. The tapping starts again, not from behind the wall or above, but from within that void, growing louder, faster, until it's a thunderous pounding. And then I hear it. A whisper, low and guttural, in a language I don't understand, but somehow feel like it's burrowing into my mind. It's not just sound, it's intent, malevolent and ancient, something that's waited far too long to be let out. I stumble back, the key falling from my hand, and slam the door shut. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely turn the lock, but I manage, collapsing against the wall, my breath ragged. The pounding continues, muffled now, but relentless, and the whisper seeps through the cracks, curling around me like smoke. I don't know what I've done, but I know I've awakened something. Something tied to this place, maybe to the land itself. Something that's been buried under layers of time and forgetfulness. I think of the old stories my grandfather used to tell, about the woods beyond the highway, about things older than the town, older than memory, that wait for a door to open, for a key to turn. I scramble to the front of the store, the lights flickering wildly now, the air so thick I can barely breathe. It's 7:12 a.m., and I unlock the front door with fumbling hands, the cold morning air a shock against my skin. I stand there, panting, waiting for the first customer, for anything to break this nightmare. But the parking lot is empty. the dawn unnaturally still, and I can still hear the pounding, faint but persistent, from the back of the store. I don't know if locking that door again sealed whatever it is inside, or if I've only delayed the inevitable. I don't know if it's tied to the key, to the store, or to me now for being the one who turned it. The first customer finally arrives, an old man in a flannel jacket, and I force a smile, pretending everything's fine. But as I ring up his purchase, I feel it again. That weight, that gaze, watching from somewhere I can't see. The store feels different now, like it's holding its breath, waiting. I don't know if I'll ever feel safe here again or anywhere. I don't know if what I let out can be put back or if it's already slipped through.